Welcome to another edition of Track versus Track. This is part one of a four-part series where I'm going to take 8 albums from a classic band and pit them up against 8 albums from another classic band. And since I'm flying solo, we're going to call this Matt's Picks Sweet 16. All right, so for episode 1, we're going to pit up the mighty Black Sabbath. And we're going to use 8 albums from Black Sabbath's catalog, which include Black Sabbath, Paranoid, Masters of Reality, Volume 4, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, Sabotage. Then we're going to skip a couple albums because I know you're thinking, oh, well, Technical Ecstasy would be next. Well, I'm picking my 8 favorites. So we're going to skip to the Dio years, and we're going to go Heaven and Hell. And the last one, the 8th album in this first heat, is Mob Rules. All right? So these 8 Black Sabbath albums are going up against... let's go have them go up against Iron Maiden. So I'm going to use the first 7 Iron Maiden albums. So Iron Maiden, Killers, Number of the Beast, Peace of Mind, Power Slave, Somewhere in Time, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, and because I don't really want to get any further in the Bruce era or want to go to, beyond that, we're going to pull this classic, Live After Death. So yes, there is a live album in here, which I dropped walking to film this. So I just bent the hell out of it, and I'm really pissed off about that. But oh well. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of shuffle these up. And I've got 2 piles here, and I'm going to pull one from one pile and one from the other pile, and put them up against each other, and one will eliminate the other. Okay? So then by the end, I'll see how many we have left. So basically 8 of these albums are going to be eliminated. It's possible that all 8 could be eliminated by one group. Then I'm going to split the deck, and I'm going to go those 4 up against each other and 2 against each other, and then we'll find out which is the best album. Let's get luck of the draw. So this is kind of an interesting way to go track versus track. All right, so here we go. I'm pulling one from each side just randomly. And on the Black Sabbath side, I pulled Volume 4. Man, one of my absolute favorite albums. And that's going to pair up against Power Slave. Oh boy, that's a toughie. I would put both of these in my top 3 favorite albums by each band. What am I going to pick here? Volume 4? Now, I should say this. It's not about which one I think is better. It's which one do I prefer? And that could change, honestly. These 2 are very close. This is the 5th Iron Maiden album. This is obviously the 4th. I'm going to give it to Sabbath. So Volume 4 moves on. Power Slave takes an early exit. All right, so I'm going to stick those off in different spots. Okay, I'm reaching again into my pile here, and I have pulled out Sabbath Bloody Sabbath for the Black Sabbath side, and Live After Death. So this is basically a greatest hits, double LP, famous live recording. However, Bruce's voice is not at top form, but most people would say this is one of the great heavy metal live albums of all time, and a lot of people may even say if they had a Desert Island Iron Maiden disc, this would be it. But I have often said that Sabbath Bloody Sabbath is my favorite Black Sabbath album, so I won't lose sleep over this one. I'm giving it to Sabbath. So far, both Maiden albums have exited stage left, and both Sabbath albums have stayed in the game. All right, so we're reaching for another one here. We've got Mob Rules by Sabbath and Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. That one's not too tough for me either. I know a lot of people think this is like one of the great Maiden albums, and I do like it. It's a little too synth heavy for me, but I love the Dio era Black Sabbath, which is why I put two of them in there. So Mob Rules, Sabbath is kicking some ass. All right, going back into the well here. Let's see what we're going to pull out this time. Black Sabbath 1 versus Killers. I mean, this is, you can't get any more iconic heavy metal than this, right? And this is the last Paul Di'Anno album. I actually prefer the debut, but Killers is such a strong album, and I'm going to give it to Maiden. All right, so that Black Sabbath, that's their first loss, Maiden's first win. All righty. Going back to the well here, let's see what I grab. Eyes are closed, they're kind of just off on the side there. And we have Sabotage versus Peace of Mind. Ooh, that's a toughie too. Love both of these. These are two of my favorites. Sabotage or Peace of Mind. Boy, these are both great albums. Once again, I mean, I like Sabbath better. This is one of my favorite Sabbath albums too, possibly in my top 3. Peace of Mind might be in my top 3 Maidens, but I'm going to give it to Sabbath. So, exiting another loss for Maiden, another win for Sabbath. Got 3 more on each side here, so I'm going to grab back here, and I'm pulling out Somewhere in Time by Maiden and Heaven and Hell by Sabbath, the first Dio album. This is a picture disc. Yeah, once again, kind of easy for me. This and Seventh Son of a Seventh Son are kind of synth heavy. I like them, but man, these two Dio albums, these two early 80s Dio albums are pretty hard to beat. So Sabbath again. All right, let's see, what do we got here? Okay, so we've got Paranoid, the classic Black Sabbath album with all the big hits, and we've got the debut, the Iron Maiden debut. And this is a lot of people's favorite Black Sabbath album. This is my favorite Iron Maiden album. This is not my favorite Black Sabbath album. Obviously, it's classic, but I'm going to give that one to Maiden. All right. So Maiden picked up another one. As you can see, I like those Paul Di'Anno albums. And then there's 2 left, so I really don't even have to look. Ooh, 3 against 3. Number the Beast versus Master of Reality. Ooh, this is a toughie. These are both top 3 for me. First Bruce Dickinson album versus Master. You know what? I think a lot of people would go the other way. This is tough. I'm going to give it to Sabbath. This is a classic album. I think a lot of you would probably pick Number the Beast, but I'm giving it to Master of Reality. I just love that album so much. All right, so we've got 6 Maiden albums, or excuse me, 6 Sabbath albums that went through and 2 Maiden albums. No Bruce albums. All right, so now I'm going to kind of shuffle these up and just pick 2 at random to go against each other. Okay, so my first one is Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, and my next one's going to be Volume 4. So Sabbath versus Sabbath. This is a toughie because these are like my 2 favorites. Boy. Because of Changes, I'm going to say, because they're so close, but I don't really care for that song. So, yep. Sabbath Bloody Sabbath moves on. Volume 4 exits, stage left. Okay, next we've got Mob Rules, and that's going up against Heaven and Hell. Boy, that's a toughie too. The 2 Dio albums going head to head. I'm gonna go Heaven and Hell. Barely. All right. So 4 left. We've got this versus this. What do we got here? Sabotage versus Iron Maiden, self-titled. I'm gonna give this one to Maiden. That hurts because I love Sabotage. And we got 2 left. We know what those are, right? Killers versus Master of Reality. And this one is actually the toughest so far. I'm going to give it to Sabbath. All right, so we got 3 Sabbath and 1 Maiden. Let's shuffle these up here. All right, and here we go. We got Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath versus, so there's 4 left, versus Heaven and Hell. That's relatively easy for me. Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath stays in, and we know the last 2 are Masters of Reality and Iron Maiden self-titled. This is very difficult. I'm going to give it to Maiden, but dang, that hurts. All right, so for the Sweet 16, this is the finals. I should have said that was the final 4. I should have said the Elite 8 and final 4. Well, we'll do more of these. Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath versus Iron Maiden, self-titled. I'm going to go with, oh boy. I mean, obviously I clearly like Sabbath a lot better than Maiden, but this first Iron Maiden album to me, Prowler, Remember Tomorrow, Running Free, Phantom of the Opera, Transylvania, Strange World, Charlotte the Harlot, and Iron Maiden. It's a perfect album. I mean, I got to read off the tracks for my runner-up because Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath is no slouch. Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, National Acrobat, Fluff, yeah, that one probably hurt it a little bit. Sabracadabra, Killing Yourself to Live, Who Are You, Looking for Today, and Spiral Architect. Yeah, I think I made the right decision. I just think this is a stronger album. Thanks for watching our Matt's Picks Trek versus Trek Sweet 16 first edition, and stick around for another edition. Bye-bye.